Hello everyone, and welcome to my very first music lesson. In this lesson, I want to introduce you to my approach to learning music. I consider there to be 4 ingredients to success with music. The first is repertoire. This is your list of songs. There may be only one, there may be hundreds. And your repertoire is supported by 3 other ingredients. The first of these is knowledge. Knowledge is all the information you can obtain about music from reading books or watching videos. Next is technique. This is the physical part of playing an instrument. In my case, I usually play string instruments, so there's left hand and right hand technique. Next is perception. This is what you can hear when music is playing. Use your knowledge of music to give you labels you can apply to what you hear. Finally, these 4 ingredients come together in what is called the lesson plan. Let's start our first lesson plan. Remember the 4 ingredients? Let's assume we are just getting started and we don't even have one song in our repertoire. The first ingredient we are going to work with is knowledge. We are going to learn the musical alphabet in something called the chromatic scale. The musical alphabet is like our regular alphabet, but it is only the first 7 letters. When you get to G, you go back to A. These are the only letters you will see in music. Notice that the B and C and E and F are close together. All the other letters have something in between. What is between A and B? There is one note between A and B, but it has 2 different names. The note between A and B is called A sharp or B flat. The same thing happens between C and D. The note between C and D is C sharp or D flat. The same thing happens between D and E. The note between D and E is D sharp or E flat. This pattern continues until you have this. This is called the chromatic scale. This is something you should memorize and is now part of your musical knowledge. Up next, we will talk about technique. Remember the 4 ingredients? Let's talk about technique. Technique is the physical part of music, so it's all about the muscles and the joints. For me, the first technique to learn is posture. Good posture lets you practice comfortably, makes it easy to breathe, makes it easy to position your arms and hands, and most of all, it allows you to avoid pain. If you're going to play with good posture, I recommend the following: using a strap for the guitar and the mandolin, sitting with the dobro, and using a chin rest and a shoulder rest with the fiddle. Let's get your instrument and give it a try. Let's focus on guitar first. Adjust the strap so the guitar stays in the same position whether you're standing or sitting. Sitting or standing? Standing or standing? Gotcha. Let's try the mandolin. Adjust the strap so the mandolin stays in the same position whether you're standing or sitting. Sitting or standing. Let's try the dobro. I almost always practice sitting down, but I have a strap and the same rules apply. Adjust the strap so the dobro stays in the same position, whether you're standing or sitting, sitting or standing. Let's try the fiddle. On the fiddle, I use both a chin rest and a shoulder rest. I use a high chin rest so I can adjust my shoulder rest lower. The fiddle stays in the same position whether I'm standing or sitting, sitting or standing. I find it easy to have good posture standing with the fiddle. With the guitar, if I don't use a strap, I tend to slouch. Good posture is something you should memorize and make part of your musical technique. Up next, we will talk about perception. Remember the 4 ingredients? Let's talk about perception. Perception is the listening part of music. It's all about your ears. Musical perception is your ability to hear and recognize the elements of music just by listening. To play music well, you need to listen. One of the ways you can demonstrate your musical perception is to match a note played on your instrument with your voice. Let's give it a try. I'm going to play a note on the guitar, and I will match it with my voice. Then I will play the note again, and you match it with your voice. Ready? La. Now you try. Let's try a different note. La. Now you try. Depending on your experience, you might find this extremely easy or difficult. Matching pitch with your voice is a way to exercise your ears and improve your musical perception. So even though you want to play an instrument, some amount of singing is recommended. Next, we will work on repertoire. Remember the 4 ingredients? Let's talk about repertoire. Repertoire is the list of songs that you can play. To have a repertoire, you have to learn how to play songs, and you have to practice to maintain your repertoire. I play a lot of bluegrass music, and when a bluegrass song ends, there is often some additional music added that is called a tag. So the first song we are going to learn is actually a tag. This tag is called Shavin' a Haircut. The full tag is Shavin' a Haircut, 2 bits. This phrase has a total of 7 syllables, and each syllable is a note. Let's learn this song on guitar first. Now before we can play the guitar, I want to give you some more knowledge. We are going to learn 2 things about the guitar. First is the name of the open strings on the guitar, and second is how to notate fingered notes on the guitar. There are 6 strings on the guitar, and they each have a name. Let's start with the first string. The first string on the guitar is the thinnest and highest pitched string. and its name is E. Notice the name is a letter from the musical alphabet. The second string is closest to the first string and is called B. The third string is G. The fourth string is D. The fifth string is A. And the sixth string is E, same name as the first. To indicate notes on the guitar, I will use a fraction notation. The top number will be the string, and the bottom number will be the fret. So if you want to notate the third string open, I would write. This indicates three things: the name of the note, and the string and the fret below. Here are the 7 notes for shaving a haircut on the guitar. Here's what it sounds like. Here is a slow version with a close-up of my left hand and right hand. Next, we will do the mandolin. Let's learn the same 2 things about mandolin. First is the name of the open strings on the mandolin, and second is how to notate fingered notes on the mandolin. There are 4 sets of 2 strings on the mandolin, and each set has a name. Let's start with the first set of strings. The first set of strings on the mandolin are the thinnest and highest pitched strings, and their name is E. Notice the name is a letter from the musical alphabet. The second set of strings are closest to the first and are called A. The third set of strings are called D, and the fourth set of strings are called G. To indicate notes on the mandolin, I will use a fraction notation. The top number will be the set of 2 strings, and the bottom number will be the fret. So if you want to notate the third strings open, I would write. This indicates 3 things: the name of the note above, and the string and the fret below. Here are the 7 notes for shaving a haircut on the mandolin. Here's what it sounds like. Here is a slow version with a close-up of my left hand and right hand. Next, we will do the Dobro. Let's learn the same 2 things about the Dobro. First is the name of the open strings on the Dobro, and second is how to notate fingered notes on the Dobro. There are 6 strings on the Dobro, and they each have a name. Let's start with the first string. The first string on the Dobro is the thinnest and highest pitched string, and its name is D. Notice the name is a letter from the musical alphabet. The second string is closest to the first and is called B. The third string is called G. The fourth string is called D. The fifth string is called B. And the sixth string is called G. To indicate notes on the Dobro, I will use a fraction notation. The top number will be the string and the bottom number will be the fret. So if you want to notate the third string open, I would write. This indicates 3 things: the name of the note above, and the string and the fret below. Here are the 7 notes for shaving a haircut on the Dobro. Here's what it sounds like. Here's a slow version with a close-up of my left hand and right hand. Next, we will do the fiddle. Let's learn the same two things about the fiddle. First is the name of the open strings on the fiddle, and second is how to notate fingered notes on the fiddle. There are 4 strings on the fiddle, and they each have a name. Let's start with the first string. The first string on the fiddle is the thinnest and highest pitched string, and its name is E. Notice the name is a letter from the musical alphabet. The second string is the closest to the first and is called A. The third string is D. The fourth string is called G. To indicate notes on the fiddle, I will use standard notation. Here are the 7 notes for shave and a haircut on the fiddle. Here's what it sounds like. Here is a slow version. Next, we will do a recap. We have now finished our first lesson with music's 4 ingredients. We created our first lesson plan, and we have our first song in our repertoire. As you continue your study of music, remember to build lesson plans using the 4 ingredients. Good luck!